What's up guys, Brian, the brand builder here. In today's video, what I want to do is show you guys the fundamental principle of you building your brand. And that is finding a winning product to sell on the biggest, the juiciest, the most impactful e-commerce platform in the world, and that is Amazon. I like to categorize what I consider something feasible into 4 separate categories. Number 1 is demand. In other words, are people actually searching up the product on a monthly basis so that you can actually have a product that flies off the shelves for you? Number 2 is competition. When you purchase on Amazon, do you look at the reviews? Do you look at how many reviews there are and the review rating of that product? Reviews make Amazon a very social proof-driven market, and we utilize this in order to dictate competition. In other words, a market with high reviews typically means that there is a larger barrier to entry. Where a market with lower reviews, we're talking about less than 1,000, we can get into the market with a unique product in order for us to actually go ahead and dominate that product, which leads me to my next and my third thing that we can look for in a product is the ability to make something unique. We can't just go and sell a product that is exactly like everyone else's. When you search up a term on Amazon, you see 25 listings on every single page. What is going to be the reason that customer clicks on your listing as opposed to your competitor's listing? It's the uniqueness that you have, things that you do to understand what gaps do you need to fill in order to solve the additional customer needs for a specific customer. And the fourth and the final category that we look for is obviously profitability. So not only do we want the search volume to translate into actual revenue to validate that demand, we want to make sure that demand is also profitable. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to bring you guys into my screen and I'm going to show you Jungle Scout's product research tools in order for us to find our first winning product. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to uncover a strategy that I find over 50% of my products within, and it's utilizing Amazon's platform, and I like to call it horizontal product research. Let's get it. Okay, so before we dive in, I want to go over the 4 different tools that Jungle Scout actually offers when it comes and pertains to product research. Number 1 is your product database. Okay, I'm going to quickly show you what this essentially means. We're going to click into a category. I'm going to hit search. What this will allow us to do is identify specific products. In other words, we can see one product and nothing more than that. If I click on this ASIN right here, I can see the data specifically pertaining to just one product. That's it. Now, the second one is the opportunity finder. The opportunity finder, if we do exactly the same thing here, we click it in, we're actually going to notice that this is a specific market. So as you can see here, if I view this on Amazon, for example, Ultra Eyeliner is the market. Because Amazon is a search engine, we don't want to just define and understand the feasibility for one product. We want to understand the entire market. So for that exact reason, in my opinion, I personally love to use the opportunity finder, but don't pigeonhole yourself. Never put all of your eggs in one basket. The product database is going to allow you to find some really cool products as well. Just note that you might need to find the keyword market to do the additional analysis from there. Now, with that being said, there are 2 other tools that you can utilize. Number 1 is the product tracker. The product tracker actually is a tracker. So if you have any ideas, any things that come in mind while you're doing this product research, you can actually go in and add it in to your tracker and track that over time. The last and the final one is category trends. This is something cool. You can essentially look into the trends specifically when it comes to dates, Amazon bestsellers, looking into specific categories. Again, not pigeonholing yourself, not putting all of your eggs in one basket. This is a great opportunity. But let's dive into the opportunity finder and let's start actually defining the criteria that we brought up at the beginning. Remember, we're looking at demand, looking at competition, we're looking at opportunity to differentiate, and we're looking at profitability. Okay, when utilizing this tool, really there's 2 big things that we can really knock off of that feasibility criteria, and that is demand and that is competition. Now, before we dive in, what I want to do is bring to light the categories that I personally recommend if you're a new Amazon seller to get into the Amazon space, because I'm a firm believer that this is most likely going to be a learning curve for you. And for that reason, it's best to not have to jump through as many hoops as possible. So the categories that I recommend off the top of my list are arts, craft, and sewing, home and kitchen, industrial and scientific, kitchen and dining, office products, patio, lawn and garden, sports and outdoors, and tools and home improvement. Now, there are a handful of other ones that I recommend as well. Just note that there might be some additional certification that you need, but sometimes it's well worth diving into these because you can find some winning products. Those categories are baby, beauty and personal care, toys and games, pet supplies, as well as health and household. So now that we have all of the categories that I personally like to recommend, what we're going to do is go over to this right side and start filling out some of the actual criteria. Now, what I think personally, in order for us to establish demand within a market, is we're finding products that ideally have over 5,000 in monthly searches. So what I like to do is I like to put on the low end at least 5,000 monthly searches. Okay. I like to find products that are over $30 in price point at the bare minimum. I'm actually seeing a lot of success between the $50 to $250 price points. But at the bare minimum, we want to make sure that the monthly price is at least $30. And you can put a max price if you want, but I'm going to leave this open. And last but not least, I like a product that sells at least 5 units per day. And if we're selling 5 times 30, we want to make sure that on a bare minimum, we have 150 as our minimum units sold. Now, again, these are us getting into different categories at the end of it. Now, again, these are bare bones, the minimum criteria that you want, but feel free to change these. Maybe you want to add 10,000 in here, or maybe you don't want anything that has more than 10,000 search volume. Maybe you want to increase this to 500. Maybe you do want to go after that high ticket market and go $100 plus. I'll leave that up to you and your discretion. The last and the final thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and put this into the middle here so that there is no more than medium competition. From here, we're going to go ahead and hit search. And then it's going to allow us to populate a bunch of different keyword opportunities that we can utilize, pull up on Amazon, and see if it actually makes sense for us to move forward. So now that we've clearly defined that criteria and we put it into the filters of this, I like to utilize this tool to ideate, to think of the ideas that I personally would have never thought of. What we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the data that is presented to us directly on Jungle Scout. But the goal here is to actually pull it up on Amazon and utilize Jungle Scout Pro extension in order to actually look at the market data in full. What we're going to be able to do is actually look at all of the data when it pertains to the first page, second page, and start to make some more analytical decisions based on it. Okay, so now that we see this data, the filters have actually populated the search for us. What we're really looking for is, in my opinion, I just like to look for things that I never would have thought of. For example, what are these butterfly needles for blood drawing? That brings some eyes to my attention. If we can see, it's selling 3,700 units per month. Obviously, there's demand there. The average price point is $50. We're looking at 5,800 searches per month, okay? And we see that it actually has some low competition. So what I would do in this scenario is I would go and click this little button here, hit view on Amazon. And first of all, I would want to make sure I understand what this product is. Is this something that I feel might be restricted? Is this something that actually interests me? Looking at this, syringes with needles, I'm thinking about the third thing. Is this a product that I could potentially differentiate and bring a solution to the market? Purely just due to my experience, I probably wouldn't move forward with this product, and that's okay. For that reason, sometimes you need to just go with your gut and see if it's something that you want to spend more time actually looking at the data for or not. Let's keep scrolling through here until we find something that potentially looks appealing for us. Pool accessories storage. Okay, that's interesting. 2,800 units sold per month, $58 price point, 8,200 searches, meets all of the criteria that I'm looking for, and we have some very low competition. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at this data. So it's this lightweight product, has some storage for some foamies. We have some different variations. This is something that potentially interests me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up Jungle Scout, the Chrome extension in specific, and we're going to take a look at this market again from a bird's eye view, specifically on this page. Okay, so we're going to pull up the Chrome extension now. We're going to look at all of the data that pertains to this first page. So as you can see, we see about 25 listings, which is typically what your first page entails. And the beautiful thing is, I love Jungle Scout. Jungle Scout gives us pretty much all the averages here. So what is the average revenue that all these people are doing? Okay, the average monthly sales, average price point, okay, and then we can also see the demand score. So there's a lot of really good data points that we see here. We just want to make sure that realistically, all of these people are doing the numbers that we put into our criteria. Now, as you can see, it is average data. So some people are doing 682,000 and some people are only doing 20,000, 3,000. The biggest thing that I look for in a market is consistency. And what I mean by that is, okay, based off all of these people, for the most part, are most people making money? Okay. Now you can do and customize your view on this as well. Look at a bunch of different things. Okay. You can scroll to the right here. You can see all of their fees, the amount of reviews that they have. And there's just a lot of additional data that you can and will look at depending on what you're looking for in a product. But this is the 3-step approach. It's going and thinking about the categories and the criteria that you want. It's looking at the data directly on Jungle Scout, and then it's pulling up the Chrome extension in order for us to find and look at the data as a whole to make a decision on if we want to move forward with it. So now what I want to do is I want to show you my horizontal product research strategy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Jungle Scout one more time, and I'm going to go and I'm going to see what are some of these best sellers here. Okay, so these guys right here, this guy, for example, he has $260,000 in revenue. He's selling 3,700 units. He only has 1,400 reviews. So, nothing crazy, to be quite frank with you. I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull up this specific listing. Okay. And horizontal product research is, in my opinion, it's a few prong approach. Number one, it's really looking on here and seeing, one, are there other competitors that have something different that maybe have my eyes appealed to? Number two, I like to look into the frequently bought together section here, okay? Which tells me that people that are buying this are most likely buying these as well. So what I mean by horizontal is when I click on this, I'm building out this horizontal tabs list of other products that I can then go ahead, understand what the keyword is. So for example, this is a swimming pool ladder mat. I would go and take this because, again, I don't like to analyze the data just for one product, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to hit paste. I'm going to search this up. And now I have this additional keyword that potentially could be an additional market that I look into. I would go in, hit the Jungle Scout Chrome extension one more time. And then from here, I would look at the data from a bird's eye view and see if this is something I want to move forward with. But here's the secret sauce. If you find a product that is absolutely crushing it, you can safely assume that they most likely have a brand that is also crushing it. In other words, they have other products that also make sense. So you can hit this little function right here where it says, visit the improvement store. Okay. And now we can see all of the other products that they have. So as you can see, these guys have just a bunch of different pool organizers, but here's something that's interesting. Not only is it a pool organizer, but it's a towel organizer as well. Okay. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to click on this product here. Okay. I see these different standard tiers, 5, low, high. This is another product that I found horizontally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search up pool towel rack. That is a potential keyword for me to analyze. We're going to hit search. And now I see all of these additional keywords. I'm just going to let it load up. And then we're going to pull up the Chrome extension one more time. We're going to look at that data and see if it's something that we want to move forward with. So horizontal product research, in my opinion, is one of the most goated product research strategies for one main reason. It's because not a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are focusing on just utilizing Jungle Scout or utilizing Helium 10 to find your product ideas. And what is that going to do? It means you're going to find all the same product ideas that everyone else is finding. So why not do something different? And why not reinvent the wheel and take the ideas of some of your best sellers? This is how you can go down an endless rabbit hole to find some of the best winning products on Amazon. I want to bring your attention to a really cool tool that they have, which is their generative analysis. And this is actually leveraging artificial intelligence to do the product differentiation point aspect for us. In other words, the third thing that I mentioned is trying to make a product unique. And one of the best strategies, again, is not reinventing the wheel. And what that means is we can learn from our current competition. Now, I'll typically look at like 5 to 10 of my top competitors, and I'll leverage this tool to look at the top 50 reviews, and that's what it pulls for us. And it gives us a synopsis, it gives us an idea of things to improve on, things that are going well. And what that allows us to do is come in with a little bit more of an open mind so that we can develop a product that ideally solves additional needs so that we can charge higher prices, we can steal competition from people, and ultimately become a more profitable product compared to what's selling on Amazon. So I'm going to pull up this pool towel rack. This is something that we identified through our actual horizontal product research strategy. And when you have the Chrome extension downloaded, you can actually see this little thing called generate analysis. Okay. All we're literally going to do is press this button. It's going to work its magic and it's going to pop out an analysis for us. Okay, so as you can see, in just a matter of seconds, this AI review analysis tells us quite a few different things. Number one, it categorizes it in 3 different things. What are the most common positive comments customers make about the product? This is so important because we never want to reinvent the wheel here. We want to continue doing what's working. The second thing is what are the most common negative comments customers make about the product. Now, this is huge because we want to make sure that we solve all of these specific things that are being brought up in this analysis so that we can, again, fill the void, close the gap in the market so that we can charge a higher price, solve additional needs, and really just bring a better product to the market. And the last thing that it suggests is specifically improvement. So it's taking this data and telling us specific things that we can potentially do within this. Okay, so let's quickly go through some of the things. Number one, ease of assembly is something that they like. So that's probably something important for me to make sure that I do. Sturdiness and durability. And then lastly, functionality and convenience. Okay, now I like to spend a lot of my time in the negative component. So, you might see this a lot is high price. In other words, they're not getting the value for what they're paying. So how do I make something that is of more quality so that my price point dictates the actual value that they receive? Size issues. Some customers find the product either too large or too small for their needs. First thing that comes to mind is, how do I make this modular? How do I make this go from small to big? Or maybe I want to launch different variations so I can solve both of those needs. In other words, as well, I would want to make sure that my listing is clearly displaying the actual size of this product. And although we did see ease of assembly as a positive, we also see it as a negative. So again, adding additional tools, modifications, maybe including assembly processes and instructions is going to be something huge. In fact, it is a must-have when it comes to products selling on Amazon if there is assembly in specific. Now, this is something that, again, it's more of a synopsis of what you're seeing here, right? It's telling us price adjustment or added value. It's exactly what I said. If you're going to sell this product, you probably want to sell it at a lower price, or you want to make sure you have the value to make up the price point that you sell. Improved manufacturing tolerances. Ensure better quality control during manufacturing to assemble easier and safer, reducing the need for additional tools or modifications. And then size variations. Again, we made that assumption just by looking at the size issues here. Offer different size options to cater to various customer needs, ensuring that the product can accommodate both small and large towels without any issues. Okay guys, so that is the wrap of our product research tutorial. One of the reasons why I'm so bullish about the Amazon opportunity is because we have tools like Jungle Scout that make the front-end research process significantly easier. I'm a firm believer that if we can make analytical decisions and make educated guesses about launching products, we can be significantly more successful for one, but for two, we can minimize our risk on the investment that we put into it. And by leveraging Jungle Scout and the workflow that you just saw, it takes that first step that I mentioned at the beginning, and that is finding a product because your product will make or break your business, because at the end of the day, you're launching a product-based brand. Now, branding and actually launching the actual product is a whole other story, but if you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, we're going to be releasing tutorials, videos on exactly that we do in order to launch successfully in today's Amazon market trends.